Hello and welcome back. I'm bballjo and this is Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Today on St. Bernard, we have Piv's Republic submitted as a play-along to Season X, but it's very different, and this and the next two episodes we're going to check out what other people have been up to. So, well, Pivs, first off, thank you very much for submitting it. Second, thank you for being different than me. This is entirely different. The only thing that is the same is the starting point. We are on the peninsula because those are your only two harbor houses. We are in 2023, currently in Season X, we're in 2040-ish. So we are near each other at least, and we have a comparable population, and yours, I'm assuming, is more stable than mine. So that's awesome. Let's go look at what's actually going on here. Night is already coming, which means we will get a night view of the peninsula, of everything else that's going on, which honestly in this game it's exciting. It's relatively exciting. We do have a chance to look at what's going on over here. Nice use of the textures that you get in the vanilla game, which all you have to do is go over here to trees and accessories and use whatever you want down here, which can get pretty exciting. We have a little bit of harbor and city over there, and then the rest of the city kind of just tucks in here, which is beautifully done. Yes, and guess what? A ton of rail already set up on the peninsula, and something special set up on the island already, which I'm gonna show you last, so you gotta stick around for that. Wink, wink. That's your hook, right? No, cool. It will be fine. It will be fine. Trust me. So, what do we have going on in the beginning? Relatively light. We have a heavy industrial sector sitting over here. We have a little bit of fuel coming in. That's smart. Actually bring that in here with trains, what it looks like, and there's a nice little unloading spot right there with a triple lane joining back into a little diamond over here. Yep, just some interesting rail phenomena, but I don't see any trains here. That makes me a little bit sad. But our distribution office is right here, making sure that we have everything taken care of. Excellent. I see some cement coming through here. I do see a prefabs panel factory, which is interesting because this makes me think it may have been one of the early industries. Same with brick factory over here that has some coal coming in through a train aggregate unloading station. That's very interesting. We do have a little space for vehicles. Yeah, sure. Vehicles and containers, they have to go somewhere. And then we go through the mountain. This looks like it would have taken quite some time to get through, but it takes care of, well, everything that you need. There's a through road, there's a bridge, there's a bigger bridge over there, there's a little bit of a rail setting right here. Everything that you need. And I think I should point out, I don't see traffic jams. I haven't seen traffic jams on the island. We are at 55,000 citizens, so that's not nothing. And not having any traffic jams just piling up everywhere is a wonderful thing. Also, these nice curves on the giant triangle. Yeah, expanded triangle. Sure, maybe. I don't know. It could be. But yeah, we have normal industry sitting over here. I'm actually very curious to see what's your health. 80%. That's not the end of the world with 78% people being happy, because we have a clothing factory and a fabric factory sitting right next to the city, and I'm assuming they also had a potential to be early industries because they're really close to the Sargrad, sure, customs house. So that would have been a very easy import-export even after you started everything, and it's very possible that we actually started from over here compared to down here from Momorsk. So very nice. And yes, airplanes. There are a ton of airplanes on this island already. Where are you going, buddy? You are trying to not hit them out in there. I'm proud of you. And then the airport comes in right there, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But so far, so good. People are happy. They have what they need, and a lot of greenery. A lot of greenery added to the cities, which the green, blue, white buses, which I'm assuming are also different lines. Yep, all of these are all white. All of these, I'm assuming, are all blue. It makes it really easy to distinguish between your different bus lines, which I highly recommend. Nicely done. I don't do it because I'm lazy, but you should. if you can. It would be nice if the whole line could change colors all at once, but no, it's very click heavy, so do it at your own risk. Got a couple prisons up here that are relatively full. I'm actually surprised to see this much because there are more prisoners than what I would expect, but there you go. Yeah, crime is taken care of is really all this translates to, and I'm just checking that these numbers are doing something useful. They are. I am surprised to see people escape from up on the mountain here, but I guess that is just the way it is, and that's fine. And they may be working at the woodcutting post over here. That's cool. Cool way to use those guys. I appreciate. I can approve of that. Looks like we got a little bit of a moneymaker sitting over here with a nuclear fuel production that is full, that would like to make a little extra money. Then we have a nuclear fuel fabrication again, and then we have a uranium conversion plant for these two guys. So yeah, looks like that is all happening relatively quickly. They would just like a little more exports happening for them so they can make us even more money, which the nuclear fuel sitting over here. Where are you coming? No, you're coming from here. Yeah, you're making, you have 6. This is nuclear fuel. Where is that one? I feel like I'm missing something. Uranium conversion plant, yes. Nuclear fuel fabrication, nuclear fuel fabrication. Oh, I was looking down here. No, it's those guys, dummy. Okay, yeah, but there's a little cash cow sitting here, and probably, okay, now I see. They have too much of this, but not enough production in here to actually turn all of that into nuclear fuel. That's fine, that will happen. It's money. Money matters, and here's the first one with just a bunch of ships already ready doing something. What are you guys doing? You have some mixed waste that you're taking care of? Okay, there's some coal sitting over here that's been unloaded, I'm assuming. Yep, that's unloaded for sure. And then we have someone over here bringing... Are you exporting wood from here? I would... What are you doing? You are currently unloading wood. Why would you unload wood here? You have a wood cutting post up top that would produce enough wood for everyone. Yeah, so a couple things that can be changed. Nothing wrong with that. Over here, we have a ginormous chemical plant that is churning out stuff like there is no tomorrow. 700 people actually staffing that. That's impressive. That simply is very impressive. How do you get your people in here? Let's look. Lots of pipes. That's fine. I'm trying to see. Yeah, the passengers are right over here, I'm assuming. Why do I have to click on it? Oh, it has... You have it separated just so that everyone can go everywhere all the time. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I can approve that. Then all of the smokestacks just sitting right here in this area like, yeah, chemicals, I need oil. Oil power plant, I need oil. Fuel oil refinery, wow, another 500 workers in here. That is now a lot of workers that you get in here at a time. And you still have 227 left over. I would love to have that same situation in my current republic, which I clearly very much do not. Then there's a little coal power plant. Wow, stuttering much. That is not running because I'm assuming this guy produces more than enough power for the whole island. So this guy's just kind of a backup of the backup. So we don't have to worry about you. And then, yeah, nice little green oil market? No. Storage? Yeah. The green oil park. Yes, we're gonna call it Green Oil Park in honor of bballjo because I like it. This one I don't see a lot. I obviously don't use it a lot, but the solar power plant requires workers? Not a lot. I thought you needed engineers. Oh, that's good. That's nice to see that you don't actually need engineers because that's helpful. So this one produces power whenever there is enough light around, which 2/3 of your month are daytime, I think, something like that. It's not evenly distributed. So there is that part. And then, yeah, we're getting into more ships. Harbor. Harbor, 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 dry dock, harbor, 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 harbor. If you counted, put the number in the comments below, please, because I did not, and we should know how much there is. Then we got a couple of tankers sitting over here that are bringing in oil, 14,000 tons of oil every single run. We have 2 of them sitting here just happily unloading, which is wonderful. So all of this can continuously pump out whatever you want. Plus you get a little bit of extra fuel sitting there. So these guys are doing an amazing job at exactly what they're supposed to do. We have Kikupsk. Probably not. I'm gonna try anyways. But I think the city style is becoming very clear. A little bit of greenery, mixed units, different heights of buildings, so there's no uniformity, which is nice because the cities themselves look more organic this way. We got a radio station sitting there, and then all the utilities kind of taken care of pretty much everywhere. 80% happiness, and still people without jobs. Wow, this is great because having this much industry in one spot, having no traffic jams. I don't see any real traffic jams. How many trains do you even have riding on this thing? 4. And there's an end station there. Cool. Yeah, there are no traffic jams here. Seems to be doing really, really well, and that is quite awesome. And just a couple people don't have any work. That's not really a real issue. So nicely done, well done, and even a couple single tracks. Oh, single tracks are just so underutilized nowadays, but as you can see, it's happening here. And there's a bridge. Where's this bridge going? Now I'm curious. It's a shortcut to get over here. Huh, nice. Let's see this town at night. I'm a little surprised. I am seeing a couple flickering lights, and I don't know if that had to do with the power switching around from daytime to nighttime, but there was a lot of stuff here on this part of town and then over here by the airport, but nothing really wrong with that. And also turning on or getting lights on all of these streets is quite nice. And then as you can see, there is a nice dry dock sitting here that can turn quite a good profit relatively quickly, and it doesn't really require all that much, and it looks like you're actually just producing for yourself. This is not a queue. This is just you make sure that you get what you want. I like it. I like that a lot. Then again, more ships standing over here in our first airport with 3 lines, which this airport, if I'm seeing it right, is mostly cargo oriented. There is a repair station for helicopters and airplanes. Scrapping facility for airplanes, very important. Wow, I haven't actually had to build that yet, so that's nice to see. There's a long tunnel underneath everything here that gets you connected to all the pieces. This looks like a passenger. Yeah, it's a terminal. That's a full-on terminal right here that would allow a couple people to come in if they wanted to. And we are getting tourists into town. Nice. Very nice. And they're just gonna go probably over here. Yeah, they just have to take the long way around. And the bus already left for them, but that's okay. And then, yeah, just a lot of cargo sitting right here, and really nice use of tunnels. I think one right here, that one makes sense. You just go straight underneath the airfield, but then this one is a relatively common occurrence now in areas where you have an airport that wants to be built somewhere where there's already a city. You're just like, well, just use bridges now and let the airplanes go over the top of everything, and it works out. Also, nice detail with the fencing the whole airport in makes perfect sense. It's such a pain in the butt, but these are even straight. They're not curved, which also means these took a little extra effort to actually get them in the right way. But I like it. Look at all the airplanes doing airplane things. I like airplanes. I just never get to build them. I need a use for them, and I usually have to make one up, so they don't happen all that often. Okay, let's go through the rest of what's going on. This one over here is your oil storage of everything. And there's an oil drop-off right here. There's an oil pump there going to an oil pump over here. I'm assuming that is hitting into the oil fields. Yeah, there we go. These are the oil fields on the island, just right on the starting point. There is a lot of oil right underneath this first spot. And as you can see, that is nice and utilized. And then the city, whoa, with beaches. I like it. The city just fits right in here. Right on the top of the island's peninsula. First city, and let's guess. How happy are you? 73%. That's less than I expected. That's much less than I expected, but another nicely densely green green city that why would you ever want to leave? This is exactly where you want to stay when you look over there. So it's like, no, that's industry. No, I'm good. Let's stay over here. And nicely in the morning when the sun goes up, you have the solar power plant that may or may not reflect a little bit of fun things to you. I know it's not supposed to happen because all these mirrors are really heating up. Is it this black thing up here that has water stored? Something like that. Like they're all refractoring light into a very specific spot up here that just makes it really, really hot, and that's how that thing works. I don't know all the technology on that, but I think that's the gist of it. Over here, another airport. Beautiful, because we want airport. What is this guy? That's an aviation fuel storage. Cool, now I have that mod. I like it. What do we have going on over here? Well, guess what? More ships. There's another 2 harbors sitting here. Looks like mostly picking up gravel. Let's go look at my connections. Yes, this one is a pickup gravel situation, which makes perfect sense. And from what I can tell, there's a ship sitting over here that knows that it doesn't need to move any gravel around right now, which has been a theme. I see a lot of ships parked in a lot of different places just to be ready for when they're actually needed, and I think that is great. Industrial-wise, there was an interesting aspect over here. A lot more of the painting happening. I'm a little confused as to what's going on here with the paint that we see, because it's a 3-layer flying junction interchange that obviously helps traffic quite immensely. I'm still confused about what goes where, how, why. So there's that part. And well, trains just go around here, and then there's another berm next to the interstate system that takes care of them. Vehicles come in right here. Hey, so it's in a similar spot, but there's a lot more vehicle storage. Now, I have not picked apart what's going on here because I see that this production line doesn't have a queue on. This production line only produces the T815s, which makes sense, and then there are a lot of stored vehicles out here. But I'm not sure I fully understand. This is a fuel truck, right? Yeah, cistern. I'm not sure I fully understand the replacement logistics on what's going on here for now. This looks like a bunch of old trucks. Why are they still here? Anyways, lots of vehicles, a bunch of trains sitting here and being organized, and a bunch of buses sitting there. So yeah, all the vehicle replacement can happen from here. I'm just not gonna... I think we're also trying to figure out what a best case scenario for a large vehicle need in a large republic is when you do have to replace and do a lot of maintenance and all those things. So we'll see how that goes. This is all ash. This is all just dissipating the stuff that's sitting around here, and I have heard that these smaller dumps are fine because all you have to do is really to drop off stuff and never have to pick up again. And I think it will be this one, 270 tons. Yes, barely costs anything. I think it has some cargo connections, but you don't have to use them. The thing with these is, if all you ever do is drop off ash, then that will dissipate eventually, so you don't ever have to pick it up again, which is the whole point of this. The claw systems, there are some of these dumps with claws, are better for when you have to load something, even though it's still slow, even in those situations. But seems to be all doing quite well. We got another general separation there. The incinerator out here, and then more ash coming in on this end. So that seems to be working just perfectly. So that's good. After vehicle productions, let's hop on over here, and this should look a little bit familiar. I like that detail, that little star there on the edge. But yeah, this is coal. This is all coal, and it's set up very differently. We have a coal mine sitting over here and over here. They're both pushing coal ore into that area, and then we have a cluster of the refiners up here and stuff down in the valley, because the valley is already taken up by, you know, logistics and infrastructure in general. So many conveyor belts. So many. That part I like a lot. All the conveyor belts are just like, yep, there's a convention. We're going to be right here, and this is where we will stay, which is lovely. But yeah, steel mill right at the end of that, because why? The most thing you need is coal. Iron is important, but coal you need twice as much as iron, about twice as much. So it's much easier to have your steel your steel industry is right next to the coal source versus the iron source. If you don't want to transport them with, 10, 20 aggregate ships like the Lubina over here. The Lubina over here is not doing anything right now, and there are a couple smaller ships bringing iron ore into this area, but I don't see them right now. Maybe we can find them again because they're just hiding from us. Oh, they're just, you just turn them on demand. That's interesting. So I think what that tells me is that you currently don't have your own iron production up and running yet, which should make sense because if we look at where the iron is, it's not quite in any of the places that you have already built. So that's cool. No problem at all. Okay, let's look at a couple other things on the next day. And we are back. We're just coming up from the coal and steel mill area to this tiny little town up here. And it's mostly a prison town. It's just like in the middle of the mountain. It's not Fort Knox. It's not the Rock. But it's definitely rocky in the area. And it's nice and dense. I'm a little surprised of how much dedication went into this prison town because it takes forever to put anything on top of a mountain. But I would love to hear the story behind this because I don't know if this is supposed to be a prison camp or some like hard labor camp or something like that. There's several tunnels around here, and there was one thing that I found which is super negligible, but this guy, you can actually connect the footpath to the front of the tunnel and that thing counts as connected. I didn't know that that was a thing, but I'm happy for you that that worked because that probably makes trash quite a bit easier. But there is that city and town. Let's hop over to the next one. And what are we doing here? Oh, is this iron? Was I wrong? No, there's no iron out here, right? No, there's no iron yet. What are you guys producing? Looks like we're trying to get some explosives out of here. Yes. There's a small little village town? Another mountain town with a nice bypass to get into this station. It has rail and bus connected at the same time. That's lovely. I almost wonder if you are if this is a single track station, but it's kind of highlighting multiple things because I don't think these two tracks over here count for anything. So that's kind of nice that that was able to be done that way. And then what's up here? Is this tourism? There's cable waste going up here. What are they guys? What are these guys doing? You are number of workers waiting. The workers are trying to get down. There's a police station obviously up here. I think it's interesting that Pivs has decided to pick more mountaintop towns because again, it takes a long time to build those things. But I think now this part over here makes sense because I would guess that these may have been created with a little easier landscape addition than using a bulldozer and an excavator. Especially since it's all rocky area too, and that will take forever if you don't do that. But nothing wrong with that. I kind of like it. Maybe I should put a little more effort into the top of the mountain in a couple places. Maybe that will be a good thing. Yeah, okay. Well, what's going on besides this? Honestly, we're pretty much at the end. We have a vehicle production line over here again. We have a ton more harbors, if you didn't count them earlier. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have between 20 and 30 harbor buildings in the area. And then, well, you have a ton of ships on top of that. Looks like you are trying to get oil from... Are you dropping off oil or are you loading up oil? What is happening here? Looks like both of you are trying to unload. But are you going anywhere? No. Something's going to happen here. Chemicals? Chemical plant. Haha, I guessed. Great. So yeah, there's more plant. There's more happening. And the thing that I thought I wanted to point out, because I thought the dedication to that was quite well done. I don't have a vehicle to drive you all the way right now, but is the highway system. I'm going all the way to the end. This is the end of the highway system, and even there's a crossing. But you can make it through your whole republic. All the way through mountains, through water, through towns, through hills, through intersections. That's a lot of intersection over here. Through valleys, through bridges, through connections. And I like this. This road is not connected to the highway. bballjo would have totally just connected it to the highway right away, even though it's wrong. But that's nice to see. The connection's actually over here, probably for a reason. And then again, this one is not connected. You have to take this exit to get to that road out here, which is awesome. And then, yeah, this highway just goes and goes and goes, and so many bridges, so much terrain usage. And then this just feels like a real highway. It's just like, yep, this is my highway. This is where I build it. This is what's going to happen. We got a rail bridge going through here already, figuring out what the infrastructure out here is. It really just makes me curious. What is the finished Republic going to look like? Because there's so much pre-planning already going into everything that I see a great future for this Republic. Is this a split? Wow, this is a full highway interchange, because one goes a little bit to the right through the middle and one goes out here. I will skimp over this one. Oh, that's a beautiful interchange. I want one of those. City Skylines will be jealous. But yeah, we go up the hill. We have this humongous little bridge out to wherever you want to go. A tunnel through here, nice interchange system in the middle of a mountain that still connects you to everything down here. I'm assuming this was mostly built by helicopters, but there's nothing wrong with that. I like all of that. The last thing that I haven't seen yet is probably just more planning. Yep, nuclear power plant, of course, over here. You already have workers? They already got workers over here. They must be, oh, they must be part of this town then. Where is the tunnel or the road? There's the tunnel going for a little piece here, and then you serpentine all the way up the hill. That's kind of cool. And then, yeah, there's a nuclear power plant pretty much smack dab in the middle and then to the east of the Republic. And then, yeah, there's a lot of stuff already planned here. I like it. So much more potential. I would love to see this at the end. And I'm assuming this is all there so that the pylons are placed in a little bit of a nicer area, because there's no way all of these roads are going to get used. But I like it. I like it a lot. Metro and train platform. So this, where the view is for our for Season X, is going to be where another huge city is going to come around. I'm sure a lot of greenery, and then yeah, the city, the road just keeps continuing here. This looks exciting. That looks like it would have taken quite a bit of work to get that in there, but this is nice. You have the bridges, you have the tunnels, you have the rail, you have everything kind of connected and pre-planned. Takes hours. Takes hours to plan it right, to make it look right, to make you happy about it, to have some gradients in there before I can get anything done. But this is great. Thank you so much, Pips, for sending me this Republic. I know I haven't done a review in a very, very long time. There's a star on this little island over here. I love it. Details. If you guys are playing along on the St. Bernard map and also play Season X, doesn't matter if it's realistic or not, send me your saves. I would love to show how other people attack that problem. Ideally, you have some logistics set up and it's not just auto build and auto pay everything, but I'm sure even if you do, there are some things that are worth showing. So if you want to send it to me, come to the Discord, link is in the description. Just go to the Save Games FAQ and they will tell you everything about what you need to know to send me a save. You don't really have to do anything, just zip it up and send it to me. Don't worry about the mods, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe I can get to it. Pivs, thank you very much. Lovely seeing this Republic, and there will be at least 2 more in this short series, and then we'll see where we are. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.